welcome back to my channel. A bit of a different setting with being in my bedroom. It's the only place I can get good lighting. Today it is a very wet Tuesday and the lighting in my house is pretty poor. Today I'm going to talk you through my month of March. It's been a very tough month as an elite cyclist. A lot of learning, so I'm just going to tell you the stuff I've learned and also how I've coped and how I've done in the races so far. So prior to March, I had the Plage Vendéenne. So honestly, not the best start for me. I felt out of my depth a bit. I mean, who wouldn't if you were dropped 3 out of the 4 times? I mean, the only time I wasn't dropped was in the team time trial. But yeah, it's not the best start. But I quickly learned what I was doing wrong. Sitting at the back in the elite race is almost like a death wish, unless you can sustain. Well, if you can repeat your 1 minute peak power 5 times in a row, in the first hour. So basically, being the strongest guy there, you're not going to hold on. So being in the back of the peloton basically means that you feel every surge, every increase in power at the front of the race. Every time there's a split, you're going to miss it. All of these things I found out very quickly. Something I didn't really struggle with last year, just because I didn't really have this problem. So now on to Manche Atlantique, the first race of March. I think before this race, I was a bit nervous. Who wouldn't be? The race is basically the inaugural Brittany Champs. So all the big teams come here. I mean, I am part of a big team, but everyone comes with their A squad, and it's just like, okay, if you win this, you're the big dog. So yeah, it's a super hard race. It is kind of rolling, and then you get to the final circuit, which is I think it's called the Côte de Plumelec. You go up it 7 times. It's nuts. There's big crowds. All the Brittany cycling fans are there. They're cheering you on. The noise was insane. Hundreds and hundreds of people on the side. It was super cool. And yeah, during the race, I felt smooth. I felt comfortable. I helped the team on the front. I don't have any pictures, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. However, being comfortable in the race actually caught me off guard. So I slightly got a bit complacent. I found myself kind of lingering near, after I'd done my work, things got a little bit tough. Morbihan Adres, who have been super this season, they got on the front and I went slightly backwards. And I thought, you know what, they're gonna leave it until Plumelec and then they're gonna light it up on the climb. No, they put the hammer down and there was a split and I was on the wrong end of it. And when the peloton lines out and there's crosswinds and you're in the gutter, you cannot move up. It doesn't matter if you got a 500 watt FTP, you're not moving up. So the split happened and I was just back. So I missed that and there was no coming back. So I ended up rolling in with the gruppetto. A lot of people pulled out, which did not help. As I rolled in 15 minutes after the leader. But 92nd or whatever it was, doesn't sound like a good result on paper, but it was the first proper race that I'd finished in the lead. And I felt proud that I had actually finished. I know that probably sounds strange, but it was actually a nice feeling to finally finish. So it was a bit of a confidence booster. And I felt proud that I had actually contributed to something to the team as well. So coming into weekend 2 after Manche Atlantique, I felt a bit more confident and I felt ready to race. I remember getting on a train, riding to the race. It was about 15 kilometers away from Rennes, and it was tipping it down with rain. Pissing it down with rain. Still got 3 more miles to go. There's going to be quite a few professionals here today. I can't believe I'm riding to a race only to do 160 something kilometers. It's 164, I think, at an elite national level. It's a first. Remember, luckily I had 2 teammates there. The team wasn't there. They had, I think it was a Coupe de France that weekend, and remember cowering in my friend Raf's car. Oh, it was crap. The race was good. Things started splitting up late in the race. I remember struggling to move up. It was like a consistent 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I then remember on the final circuits, the peloton split into 4 groups. The peloton by this stage was like, I reckon that's probably 70 people. No, 80, I think. So it all kind of chopped up, groups going off groups. It was just really hard, and people were fatigued. I remember being caught off guard, and I was in the 4th group. There was obviously groups behind, but we will not count those for the sake of the video. And I just rolled in with that group. I had a rubbish sprint at the end. I positioned myself so badly, and I rolled in 53rd. Again, while not a good result on paper, it's still a confidence booster in my head. I'm not gonna, it's not something to write home about, but finishing these races is obviously not easy. So actually kind of being in a peloton felt nice, and Anyway, the fun bit was actually going back home. I remember I was smiling on the way back. It was tipping it down with rain still. Had my big backpack on, caked in mud, as you probably saw from the photos. I got on the train, I got some really funny looks, but it didn't really matter. I was just happy I finished. So the following day, Sunday, I had a race near Le Mans. It was sunny. Now, I love sunny days. My skin, not so much, as I'm either white or red. I felt a little bit fatigued from the day before. I rode 20 grueling kilometers from Le Mans to the start of this race. It's never easy with my big rucksack on, and when I'm not using cleats, because I use speed plate, so there's no surface area to pedal on, so it's really slow. But I got there with like 2 hours to the start, so I properly had lots of time to go. The race circuit was quite grippy. Remember the road surface on a couple areas was, it wasn't fast. Some bits were, some bits weren't. There was a bit of wind to play with. The competition was mostly National 2 teams and National 3, a few club teams as well. So about an hour in, the main brake went. About 15 minutes later, after thinking that breakaway wasn't gonna work, it did. Somehow every time I think the brake won't work, it does. So it's something to bear in mind for next time. 15 minutes later, I went with a few others, bridged across, watched David Bouteville, the guy that eventually won, pull a masterclass where when 2 groups come together, you go. No one chased him, he won by 2 minutes, fab ride. It was never in doubt for him, really experienced guy. A few breaks went after that. Again, ones I didn't think would work, but they did. Which is really annoying. So I basically left a top 10 result on the table for the rest of us in the breakaway, and I was about 15 of us at this point. It's a big break. We spent the last hour just throwing punches at each other. We're just constantly attacking each other. Nothing sticks, and it just comes down to a sprint. My legs were dead. 300 TSS the day before does not help my case. But it didn't matter. I still dive bombed the last corner and sprinted like crazy towards the end, and 10th was the best I could do. Now, again, on paper, 10th is not a win, but in my books it was. It's still on the Direct's Velo leaderboard. It's still a point. it's still a result, and it's my first elite top 10. So arguably it is my best result to date. Even though the competition is not elite national, it's still pretty cool to get a top 10. So it was then another grueling 20 kilometers back to the train, but I was still smiling, and it was still sunny, so I couldn't really complain. So I vaguely remember this weekend, Flèche Locmany, I had a bit of sickness prior to the race. Something I've been kind of struggling with this year. It's not great. So I didn't really have any like real expectations of the race. My team goal was to basically get to the final circuit, and when you got to the final circuit, there's 50 odd K left, and it was then, if we had our teammate Steven, who's like our climber, because the course was quite hilly, we're like, okay, well, we'll help him try and get a good result. He was in the breaks, so it was kind of like, okay, let's kind of just ride. Let's see what we can do. Ride collectively, but just try and ride for the best result we can. And I remember, that final circuit was brutal, and it just like, the peloton kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then come the last lap, I'd already just smashed 150 milligrams of caffeine. Boom, hits me. I'm like, okay, I can take all the risks I want. And then moved up really well. The second to last corner, which was like a left 90 degree, and then it goes left again. The first left, I went on the inside, which is my first mistake. I should have gone around the outside, because when it's a sharp left, usually the outside moves faster than the inside. So I kind of slowed down, and then coming to the second left, this is my second mistake. I should have dive bombed the corner, because then I got stuck behind traffic, and I just sprinted out, and I came 30th. At the time, I thought it was a top 20, so it was over the moon, but 30th. I cannot complain with that. Another good weekend, another confidence booster. Now weekend 4, which was just this weekend, I don't have much footage. That's mainly because I was ill. Now, this is probably a weekend I can forget, but I think I've learned a couple of things from it. The Friday night, we spent in a hotel, if you will, provided by the team, the race organisers. It did remind me a lot of a kind of, I'd say hostel, or like places I stayed with the cadets when I was younger. Mattresses made out of plastic, pillows that made in China for 5 cents. It's like really crappy pillows. Now the start of the problems was when the lights went out in my room. I was staying with 2 of my teammates. Lights went out, and I was on the bottom of a bunk bed, no one else above me. And for some reason, my bed was just like clicking every few seconds, like. It's like that Chinese torture method where they drip water and you just cannot sleep. And the only way to stop this ticking noise was to sleep on the very side of the bed, like properly curled up against the wall. And to my teammates' relief, that's what I ended up doing, to just stop this noise. And then by the time I figured this out, it was about 2 a.m. And that's where the problem started. I was then cuddled up in a corner. Then all of a sudden I started feeling this kind of sickness in my stomach. I was just like, oh please no. I just thought I needed the toilet, but it wasn't. I was genuinely about to be sick. And this became a bit of a theme throughout Saturday. I don't really throw up, it's just something I don't really do. I mean, not that I have a choice, it's just like I just cannot be sick, and I physically can't. I just felt like it was like, it's not a great feeling. So Saturday and Sunday are basically the same story for me. I didn't really do much. I watched the first day's racing. I was very proud to watch Max Cushway win that race. Fantastic ride by him, and as you can probably hear in the next clip, I was very happy. On the second day, I gave it a go, but after 120 Ks and most of the time spent in the red, I called it a day with about an hour or so left to go. Max also then had a stellar day. Our team got round, but I'm sure with a bit of work, we'll be winning soon.
Qui a été le deuxième du chrono des nations, le rouleur de la formation de...
Come on, Max!
Come on! Mate, you can win this!
Ça mérite un tonnerre d'applaudissements. On l'applaudit encore plus fort, s'il vous plaît.
Come on!